I do not trust any team right now. Not one single team. One week we see teams play top notch, and the next week we see teams look so bad, it makes you wonder if these are the same players out there. You've got Colorado putting up 13, Halifax losing games they probably should have won. Toronto looking solid, but still untested in chaos, and Buffalo just casually reminding everybody that they still are the top dogs. So who are we supposed to trust right now? What teams? Because today we're breaking down the weekend. We're talking Lacrosse Canada, and I'm down to my final 3 playoff teams, and I still don't know who I'm going to pick. Let's get right into it. Welcome back. My name is Jacob McDonald. I'm anything across in this game and never sit still. As always, leave me a comment to tell me what you want to see in these episodes. I'll try to put it in here if you put it in the comments. Also, go follow the socials. They'll be popping up on the screen right here. Subscribe and go join the Discord because there's always some great conversations in there. Some great guys in there that love to talk. I love to talk, and we love to debate stuff. With all that being said, I usually try to throw some stuff in there as well just to get it going. Anyway. With that being said, we're going to go right into the episode. We're going to do as always, for anybody new here listening, we always go through 2 topics that I like to bring up. It could be anything, really. Anything that's going on in the lacrosse world. Then we talk about, I go through all the games. I do my player awards, my power rankings. We go through all point leaders. Just a whole deep dive into the thing. So even if you're not caught right up with lacrosse, you will be after this podcast. You'll know just as much as anybody else does, to be honest with you. If not, probably more. So we'll start off. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a bonus content here. Bonus topic real quick before we get into this. So I put out a little post this week, or like a little video, like I always do, a couple days ago, and that I said Vegas, I think, is going to regret taking Nick Demude, or not trying to take a big swing at Nick Demude, because we're going to go over it into this podcast later in the podcast. But he had an amazing week. I think it might have been a historical performance, if I'm not mistaken, or right up there anyway. And the goaltending this year in general. Right, we've already talked about that quite a bit, but the fact that Vegas swung at him, from what I understand, they did take a shot at him. He wasn't being moved. To not get a goalie, to me, is just crazy. And then I got some pushback on that because I got somebody, I'm not going to call them out because I love them, right? But it's somebody pretty like highly touted in the community, and he sends me a message and he goes, I'm going to read it to you because it's hilarious. I love what he says, okay? I put this video out that said like, Vegas needs a goalie, right? I think they're going to regret not taking a swing, because I think Vegas could actually be a contender if they had Chase Fraser healthy and Vegas and Nick Demude there, to be honest with you. I think that could be a contention team right now this year. And when Sean Williams, to me, at this point, he's kind of got to get this ball moving. Like I don't think he's quite under fire where you're gonna get fired this offseason. But if he doesn't perform, like if he can't make the playoffs this year and then next year, same thing, I could see them looking into making changes after that. As much as Sean Williams is so touted and respected in this community, this is professional sports. They want to win, and especially Gretzky. Gretzky's the owner, their partner, right? I think you have Kim, Dustin Johnson. I think there's like 3 or 4 owners there, but those guys are winners. They want to win. So this is what I got. So he goes, oh, they took multiple swings. Couldn't make it happen. Put it this way, they knew they weren't going to win the championship this year, and we're prepared to mortgage the next 3 years to try and make the playoffs this year. And I agree, and I disagree with him. I think it is smarter the way they're doing it. Don't get me wrong, okay? I think it's smarter the way they're doing it. You think Con's going to be ready in the next 2 years by the sounds of this, to be honest with you. And this is somebody, like I said, pretty, in my opinion, pretty high up. And anyway, so I think Con just wait it out, right? So pull in draft picks, get draft picks, and then go from there. That's what I think Vegas should do. Don't get me wrong. But it's unfortunate. And why Philly wouldn't have taken some draft picks like that, I just don't understand. To keep Nick Demude is not fair to him, in my opinion. Unless they think they're going to contend. Because Nick Demude, I think he's 27 years old, right? Which is not old. But the problem is that they have to go through a full rebuild here, and they've still got another 2 years till they're actually competitive. That puts him at 29. It's not old. Don't get me wrong. It's still, especially in lacrosse standards, it's not old by any means. But there's a lot of good guys coming up, and it just kind of stunts these goalies. I just don't think it's the greatest position to be in. Now, the other thing is, I don't understand. I will say one thing here that I didn't mention to him, but I don't understand why they didn't take a shot at a backup then. Why wouldn't you have gone and got a backup that you think could be a starter? Now, maybe they just don't want to pay the cost for it, but you would think they want to at least make the playoffs. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens over time. Tyson Bell is signed long-term there. Well, 2 years now, right? He's signed in for the next 2 years. They seem to be giving him like the face of the franchise, which I love to see because Tyson Bell is a stud. He's got the hair. He's got the shoes. He's got the flavor. He's got the charisma to take to be like the face of the franchise. And I think I'm going to do a video on that, actually, now I'm saying that. So anyway, we'll end it there. That's all I want to say about that. But I thought that was funny. And I had to just give you guys, anybody who listens to this, I had to kind of get that in there because I think it's funny that I've had actually somebody else commented on my video too about it. And I think sometimes people don't realize that sometimes I'm looking for content and it's whatever is in my mind. So that's why it's like I know sometimes I may like bring stuff up that it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse a little bit, because that's what I'm kind of getting, that I piss people off a little bit when I put this stuff up, that I'm beating a dead horse a little bit. But this is the thing: if you're a newer fan and you don't see this, like I think these guys sometimes do take for granted that they are so intertwined, so they understand it. When there's a lot of newer fans, or I'm trying to bring newer fans in, we're getting to the playoffs. Like hopefully we can, attract some more fans to come watch some games as they're more televised and stuff like that. Maybe somebody turns on a box lacrosse game, and the playoffs are amazing, amazing. I'm gonna be promoting it like crazy. And I think that if somebody doesn't know this drama, I didn't know this stuff, right? So I just try to, sometimes I think that I'm in a, yeah, lacrosse is so niche that I think that sometimes my videos get shown to like the hardcore lacrosse people, which is great. I'm glad. But then they also don't get, like, if I'm getting shown to a newer audience, which is what I'm trying to attract, is a new audience. I think that's who I'm trying to hook, and that's what I'm trying to do. So with all that being said, that's kind of what I think happens, is like I sometimes feel like people think I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm really just trying to, like, it's something interesting to talk about, and that's just what's in my head at the time. I need content sometimes, and I'm like, fuck, I need content, and boom, because I try to put out 2 to 3 videos a day on TikTok, and then I just share them all over or whatever. But like sometimes it's hard to do that, especially when I don't feel like doing it, because I'm up and down. I'm a roller coaster, right? So it's sometimes, and this is the truth of it, guys. It's like sometimes you just don't feel like doing content. That's why this is out again later. I'm just kind of throwing a podcast out a week. I'm gonna try to get more regulated, but anyway. It's just I'm crazy busy right now, so I'm definitely putting one out. I'm probably gonna put a college one out too. I keep saying that, but I do want to do a college one. Anyway, we're getting really off topic here. I apologize for that. But anyway, my whole point of this was Vegas, I think, has got a bright future anyway, and they just stockpiling draft picks does make more sense. But I just think they would have been. I think Nick Damoud's better than people give him credit for. I think that's what it is, to be honest with you. And I think that's why I think that's what it is. Or Philly, I don't know. But again, I'm not in the ins and outs. I always say this. I'm just a dummy fan that's just talking shit, right? That's at the end of the day, that's all I'm doing here. So let's talk about the Lacrosse Canada situation here, okay? These minutes were dropped earlier this month. And they're from February 19, 2026. This was an in-camera session. So the board went in-camera, private session, and this is what led to the firing of executive director Terry Reiner, and he was not present. And then the staff, also including the admins, were also excluded. So this was just the board members. This is a normal governance, or this is a normal practice, but it signals there's serious internal discussions going on, right? Because they want to talk about something more in a closed group. So, all right, so let's go over this. So this was Lacrosse Canada Board of Directors meeting minutes. I'm just going to run through the whole minutes for you, and then I'm going to run through the March 9th statement. So this is from February 19th. Now, they always take a little while to release it, right? So it's been released more recently. So on the board, President Match, you had Director at Large. So I'm going to read you a couple Director at Large here. Barbara Lockhart, Stephen LeBlanc, Stephanie Pagan, Alan Preya. I apologize if I butchered your name, Alan. I do apologize for that. Brad Can, Hannah Lazar, and Zach Currier. So, Hannah Lazar is the Indigenous Director, and Zach Currier is the Athletic Director. And then staff, so Terry Rayner is the Executive Director, and Jennifer Johnson is the Administrative Coordinator. And then you have contributors, which is Gary Van Beek, which is Member Council Representative. Opening acknowledgement. Meeting called to order at 7:03 p.m. Eastern Time by Matt Scherer, President at the time. I would like to give thanks to the Creator for giving the medicine to the world, medicine to the Iroquois Haudenosaunee people, Haudenosaunee, for sharing this medicine with the world. Nation, Métis, and Inuit as well. We all sit in their territories, and we thank you. We say thank you, Creator, for giving us Mother Earth. She then gave us the tree in which our sticks are made from. This is the true roots of the medicine we call lacrosse today. Nawe, thank you. So it's just thank you in their language. Approval of agenda. Motion to approve agendas by Barbara Lockhart, seconded by Hannah Lazar. Approved of previous minutes. Motion to approve previous minutes by Barbara Lockhart, seconded by Brad Can. Approved. Motion to move in camera. Motion to put forward by Barbara Lockhart, sponsored by Hannah Lazar. Approved. Duration 7:08 to 8:15. I don't know how much. I'm going to go through everything here. I might cut some of this after, though. Then so return to camera at 8:15. So after that, they did need a break. So it was noted for the record that the chair was also recording the session due to technical issues with the organization's standard recording capabilities, given the sudden termination of his Lacrosse Canada email and teams across during the meeting. Further, as Lacrosse Canada's administration coordinator was unable to return to the meeting, Stephanie Pagan, as acting board secretary, continued taking meeting minutes. So it was sound like a bit of a shit show, which isn't surprising. If you ever watched the NLL game, you would understand with the mic situation. So technology is just not. It's like a bunch of older people. That's why you need somebody younger in there that's doing technology, man. It wouldn't happen like this. Motion, termination of Terry Reiner, executive director, move to in camera. Motion that the board of directors terminate the employment of the executive director, Terry Reiner, without cause, effective immediately, and authorize the chair to work with legal counsel to negotiate appropriate separation terms. Objection. Gary Van Beek, member counsel, and Brad Can, director, requested their objections be noted for the record. Alan, so they didn't want it to happen by the sounds of that. Alan Preya, again, I apologize if I'm not saying that name right, director, noted that recording an objection is a necessary step to absolve a director of personal liability. And then the results was carried. So it looks like to me, now I'm just taking from what I'm reading, I'm just, again, some guy, okay? I'm taking it that Brad Can and Gary Van Beek both were against this, and the rest of the board probably voted yes. So that's just, again, that is my interpretation. That is not maybe what exactly happened, okay? I want to just make that clear. I might not be understanding everything fully, but that's what when I read it, it looks like it to me. So Gary Van Beek, representing the member council, expressed disappointment regarding the board's decision to terminate the executive director. The member council alleged that the board had overstepped into operational matters. Additionally, there remains a need to confirm the formation of steering committees as required by bylaws. Gary Van Beek informed the board and the member council intends to commence proceedings to remove Matt Scher and as a director chair. Board response. Directors emphasize that the decision to remove the executive director was made after exhaustive assessment and due to significant issues regarding the executive director's performance, specifically regarding financial transparency, lack of communication, and failure to execute on board directives. The decision was based on collective board deliberation and followed appropriate governance procedure given the objective handling the situation by the Governance and Ethics Committee. Multiple members of the board challenged the intent of the members' council to remove Matt Scherer as director chair and advised that there has been no level of operation interference, and the removal of the ED was due to a lack of operational execution consistent with feedback from the majority of the directors. So that's interesting there, okay? Sorry, I stumbled my way through that, guys. To me, when I read that, it sounds like it sounds like they're basically saying that they don't agree with the firing, but the board saying, no, this is based on financial, like there's no financial transparency. I'm assuming that it had a lot to do with the over $1 million deficit that was run. So again, I don't know who's at fault. You tell me, right? I don't know. I'm just going to read this stuff. I did ask Terry Reiner to be on the show, and I understand why he doesn't want to be after reading this more, but that invitation is still open. I would love to have anybody on here. I'm not trying to, again, I want to get into this. I always say this now, but now that I'm starting to read this and it looks really bad. As always, I want to say this. I'm not witch hunting Lacrosse Canada. I want Lacrosse Canada to succeed. I want lacrosse to grow, but like we need to figure out and get to the bottom of this. If I don't see anybody else talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. So not true. Think Lacrosse. Pierre over there is talking about it, obviously, but I'm reading through this, and this makes my stomach turn a little bit. The board discussed a request from the member council to confirm the OLA's 2024-2025 status for grant purposes. So the letter of good standing for the OLA, Brad, seconded by Alan Preya, and that Lacrosse Canada provide a formal letter acknowledgement the Ontario Lacrosse Association was in good standing for the 2024-2025 season to facilitate their provincial funding. It was noted that while many operational governance concerns exist regarding the OLA currently being addressed, pending mediation through the SDRCC, signing the letter of acknowledgement is a stationary requirement for the NSO. Result carried. So they would have agreed to do that. But that's interesting too. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. Should I go down the OLA rabbit hole? You guys let me know. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not in Ontario. Not my circus, not my monkey, but I will if you guys want me to, because that's crazy. It is technically my circus because I'm going to cover the OLA. So should I go down that rabbit hole too? Oh my God. Here we go. So strategic roadmap align a strategic roadmap alignment. The item was moved for discussion at the next board of directors meeting in March. And operational updates, most items were moved for discussion at the next board of directors meeting in March. So I'm sure we're going to see those come out very shortly. You got athletic council, insurance was raised as part of Zach Curie's athletic director update, and Indigenous commitment update was provided as part of Hannah Lazaire's Indigenous Directors Update. So central registration, Stephanie Pagan provided an update regarding a recent central registration meeting with Charlotte Henderson, President Lacrosse Nova Scotia, and Terry Reiner. It was recommended the Lacrosse Canada privacy policy be amended to include the parameters regarding the use of private and sensitive data and information by Lacrosse Canada within a central registration model. With an upcoming member council meeting, it was decided Charlotte would present an update to member association and seek permission for Lacrosse Canada to work with RAMP to pull reliable and consistent participation numbers as member associations accounts. Due to missing and questionable data provided already, Gary Van Beek, the member council representative, indicated that discussion has not yet been raised with member council. And then financial update, the board reviewed the organization's financial health, noting of a critical state. Oh, they noted a critical state. The deficit, the chair reported a projected surplus of, projected surplus of $229,000 as of January 2026. On the sheet, metrics noted unpaid credit cards of $95,000, outstanding bills of $108,000, and authorized pending draw from, so the Dooster fund for $250K. So really, they're not looking as good as we thought here. Let's be real. Let's be real here. Based on January 8th, 2026 reporting, revenue streams, participation fees now represent 48% of total revenue, while self-generated revenue, sponsorship/marketing, has significantly declined and needs to be addressed. Oh my God, that's fucking crazy. Risk flag. The organization is carrying significant high-interest credit card debt and lacks a formalizing revenue generation or cost-cutting plan. The action. The finance and audit committees will meet to formulate a strategic plan to rebuild reserves and address debt. Obviously, you're fucking joking me, right? Hold on. At first, I thought, $229,000 surplus. That's amazing, but it's not, guys. This is crazy. You can't run like this. You cannot run like this. This is crazy, and we haven't even seen the numbers yet for this year. And they just raised the prices. I just paid it. My kid's a member, right? I just fucking paid the membership fees. They went up. I think it was I can't remember what it was, honestly, how much it went up. Maybe $30, I think is what it was to play this season for him. Not $30 to play. It was $30 raise, I think, because I think it was $175 last year. And I think I just paid $205 this year is what I paid, right? Decent raise. It's still a cheap sport. Don't get me wrong. Lacrosse is still an affordable sport if you're comparing it to hockey. So don't get me wrong, but it's still we don't want to get to hockey level, right? Hopefully not anyway. Let's figure this shit out. And there's not when I walked into, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent here, but when I walked into Lids the other day because I was at the mall and walked into Lids and I seen all the Hockey Canada stuff and I'm like, why is there no Lacrosse Canada stuff in here? We've got the Olympics coming up in 2028. Partner up with them. Let's get this out there. I'll go buy the merch. I know I would if it was there. So I would have bought a hat that day that was Lacrosse Canada. I would have. So that's just me. So governance approval, most items were moved for discussion at the next board of directors meeting in March. March is going to be a busy meeting, boys. A committee reports, reconstituting the committee to include member council representatives and external experts for board recruitment and the upcoming executive director search. Athletic council. Zach reported roadblocks in obtaining a group insurance and national athletes. Issues regarding lack of communication on event candidates were also noted. So we need better communication in there. An Indigenous committee. Hannah is drafting policies and recruiting members, targeting 4 to 5 representatives with a goal for board presentations in March. So we're going to see a lot more coming out when the March stuff comes out here, and I'll go over those as well. Operational and transition and staffing. So staff communications. So the following termination of executive board, the board discusses immediately stability measures. So staff communications. The chair and Stephanie Pagan will lead a virtual meeting with all staff on February 20th to communicate the transition and ensure operational committee, legal logistics. The board will prioritize securing a copy of former executive director's contract not found in shared files. Isn't that weird? Red flag to me, in my opinion. And issuing a legally compliant termination notice. That is fucking weird. Did I read that wrong or something? And then sign and deliver OA good standing letter. Matt/staff immediate executive director. Locate executive director employment contact via past chair. That's going to be immediate as well. Develop financial strategic plan and debt reduction options. Finance committee next meeting. Oh, well, thank God. We're just waiting one more month. Draft Indigenous committee policies and member lists for Hannah for March 2025 or 2026, sorry. And strike ad hoc committees for World Lacrosse nomination, Matt, Zach, and Barb, mid-March 2026. And adjournment, motion adjourned, meeting adjourned, all that stuff. The meeting was adjourned at 10:59 p.m. Eastern time. So pretty late, honestly. These guys are working late. Okay, so what did we learn off there? Absolutely nothing. No, we didn't. We learned for sure, guys. We learned for sure. Let's be real. Let's go into the March 9th thing too. So what did we learn there? We learned that this isn't a red flag situation. Absolutely. Everything seems to be it's not transparent. There's no letter for his employment contract. Like, where the fuck is that? That's another thing. And I'm just wondering, after reading that, who is at fault here? Who are we putting the blame on here? Is it the board for not overseeing this, or is it the executive director, Terry Rayner, in not managing this properly? That's where it comes down to. Who's at fault here, right? And that's for something for legally to figure out. But I just want to, you guys leave in the comments who you think this is for, right? Who do you think is at fault here? Okay, so we're gonna go through the board of directors meeting minutes here for March 9th. So this is a short one. On March 6, 2026, the chair circulated the follow ordinary resolution to the board of directors by email in accordance with the Lacrosse Canada bylaws permitting electronic voting between meetings. The motion is that the board of directors appoint Wendy Dobbin, interim executive lead and high performance lead, to hold signing authority on behalf of Lacrosse Canada in accordance with the Lacrosse Canada bylaws and applicable governance policies for the duration of the intern leadership period until otherwise amended by the board. The delegation does not alter the board's oversight responsibilities and remains subjective to existing financial controls and reporting requirements, any signing limits established by policy or prior board directors. Directors were requested to submit their vote by March 8th, 2026. As of March 8th, 2026, all 7 directors in office had cast their vote. So votes in favor were unanimous, and there were 0 opposed and 0 abstained. So the motion carried in the ordinary resolution and effective March 9th. So basically, she just took signing power is what was said. So nothing major there on March 9th, to be honest with you. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. There's the deep dive into, there's all the minutes. There's everything that you could want from that. Okay, let's talk. All right, so there's Lacrosse Canada situation. I will keep covering it as much as I can. I'm trying to make sure I understand it before I go running my mouth and get myself into trouble and talk about stuff I don't understand. So I'm just reading you guys what's on Lacrosse Canada. You can go do it yourself. You don't want to listen to me, and I will give you my little opinion on on what I see. Like I said, I applaud anybody to come on the show. I applaud anybody from Lacrosse Canada to come on the show. I already had Pierre on from Think Lacrosse to talk about him writing about this. He's covering this as well, and everyone else is dead silent on this. So, and I think, to be honest with you, I'm gonna have, like, right now, I think it's got to be on the executive director that was fired. I don't think the board is in the wrong in that. I think the board dropped the ball by not overseeing him a bit more. I don't think that they're clean. I think they're going to try to get him to take all the blame, when I don't think it should just be on one person that this happened. So I do think Terry Rayner probably is at fault here, because at the end of the day, he's the executive director, and it was his job to do that. He's a paid employee. The board, though, needs to also take accountability for what they let slip through the cracks, I think, is how I look at it. Now, again, maybe I'm misreading this. Maybe I'm not understanding the situation fully. I don't know, but that's my take on it so far. I'm open to changing my mind for sure on that if I see different things. But from what I was just reading, everything I've looked over so far in this case, I think the blame has to go on Terry, and I think the blame goes on everybody, not just one person, right? So, and I think maybe it's, in my opinion, it'd be time to clean house and bring in a bunch of new people and try to get somebody. I would just like to see the reins be given to somebody else if this is the case, because they still don't have a plan. We're going to see what they come up in March by March, or whenever that gets released. But they still don't have a plan, and it's a joke. Like, the March thing's already done. I'm just waiting for the minutes to be put out or whatever, right? But it's a joke on what's happening here, and it makes me sick to my stomach that we got to this point. It's a development working, sure, yes. Like, they spent a lot of money in development, but you might have sunk the ship by doing it, right? So I don't know. Anyway, let's get right into this episode. Let's talk about my playoff teams for a minute, okay? As you guys know, or maybe you don't, I have been choosing a playoff team. And the thing is, if this team that I choose, whatever team I choose to jump on, ends up winning the championship, that becomes my team permanently. Tattoo on the arm, the whole 9 yards. I'll get a custom sign made for my bar. It'll basically, I'm going to transform my whole thing will be Leaf themed, and then on top of that, it'll be lacrosse themed as well. So it's an important decision on who I decide makes the, like which team I jump on. The other thing is, if whatever team I choose, if they don't go all the way, I'm not choosing them again until I run through every other team that's in the playoffs. So next year, let's say I chose Buffalo and they didn't win the championship this year. I couldn't choose them again until I ran through until there were no other teams available. So this is good. This could be a really quick, hey, this is my team, or this could be a very slow burn, decade long, me choosing a team, right? So we'll see what happens. So this year I'm down to 3 teams. I'm going to put the picture up on the screen here. I've been slowly knocking off teams as I go along here. And we are down to the last week. We're coming into last week and I'm down to the final 3 teams. I'm down to Toronto Rock. I am down to the Halifax Thunderbirds, and I am down to the Colorado Mammoth. Now let's touch base on each one of these teams and why I'm down to them. Halifax is a close team to me. I love them. I'm pissed off at them because of the trades they made this season. I'm pissed off at them by the way they performed in a lot of these games. They've had 6 one-goal game losses, but with the same sense, with all that being said, I'm toxic enough to know that there is a chance they could make they could go for a run that would be unbelievable to be a part of. They could go for a run because the way Warren Hill's played, the way I know their offense can play, and their defense is pretty solid. And it was a tight game this last week against a top team. So you can tell they are still in the fight. They should have won that game against Vancouver, but let it go at the last, in the fourth quarter. They can't do that. They have to play 60 minutes. That's been their biggest thing this season. They need production offensively. So I think that there's a dark horse chance that they can win. So if they're there, if they can get themselves there, it's going to be hard for me not to pick them as a team because I'm an underdog guy through and through. With that being said, that means that they're going to be eliminated from my team. With the way they're structured, I think they're ready to go through a rebuild. Like I said that, or I think they're poised to right there. A lot of people call it a retool. I think they should go through a full rebuild. Go back and forth on that. But that's not be saying they can't go win the championship this year. Do I think they'd be in a better position with Bell and with Theed there? Yes, 1,000%. Especially for that they didn't really pick up anything to replace those guys. They just slotted the players that they already have in those slots and be like, okay, let's figure it out. Shout out Levi too. He's been on the show. He's got his shot now because Tyson Bell's out of that lineup. I will say that. So, sometimes when a door closes, another one opens, and you never know who's going to be good in this league. And I love Levi Tui, not just as a person, but also as a player. He's a solid player. He's played stepping in there. He's taken a couple big penalties, but he's played pretty good overall defensively where he needs to be. Halifax, if you look at it, it's not the defensive end that is the issue this year. So he's stepped into that role and played very well. So Halifax is right there. Like I said, they're the only player. That guy, I love Levi. I really do. And I love that team, and they're a close team to me. So it's an easy pick. Toronto Rock. I think Toronto has a really good shot. I've been saying this, screaming this from the rooftops, and everybody disagrees with me, but I don't care. Toronto is the best team in the league when they are firing on all cylinders. And I think they can go in and win the championship this year. Nick Rose, that storyline where he hasn't got a championship, he needs a championship. The mix of the veterans and the rookies. Again, though, do I want to risk this year as being Toronto's year when they're peak to, they're getting Ty English is going to come up. And look how good Sam's done this year. Ty is arguably better than Sam. And so we're going to see him come up. Now they're going to have 2 of those guys in there. They can play off back end like that, or they can play that transition game. Look how good it's been. Ty English might be the rookie of the year next year. So we'll see what happens. And we just seen him go in the PLL draft last night as well. So we're going to see him play PLL this year. With all that being said, Toronto's an easy pick. They're also technically my hometown's Hamilton, Ontario. They're in Hamilton, so it's easy to pick them. I love their jersey. I love their swagger. I love their arena. I will say the Halifax arena is better. I will say the atmosphere in Halifax was better when I was there. I will say that. Toronto still is a great city. It's a great arena. There's a lot of potential there. There's probably a bit more potential than Halifax in the sense that they're where they're sitting for long term. Like if I become a fan of theirs, I know they're going to be good always because they're kind of like, they're such an historic franchise, right? They're always, and Jamie Dawick loves this game. So he's going to pump money in. He's made some really big moves in the last couple seasons that has positioned him very nicely. He's got, again, I think he's got a couple draft picks this year, and they're looking very, very scary going forward. So they're kind of a nice pick now. I could see them making a run, but then do I want to knock them off the list going forward? That's where it comes down to that. If they don't go all the way, then we got the Colorado Mammoth, which I think out of the 3 picks are the one team that I think can actually go all the way and actually do it. Like I think they have the actual blueprint to do it. I think Colorado on paper is the best team in the league. Vancouver's right there. You can argue Vancouver. I think Vancouver might actually be the best team on paper. Let's be real. But Colorado has that deadly trio that seems like not all three of them are going at the same time either. And if they can have a run where they have, the playoff run where every player is going top notch, that team is going to be so scary. You have the defense that veteran defensive, that they have the veteran back end that is just so hard to play against. Most nights they've had collapses this season, but most nights they play so good against each other, like so good out there. And then you have Dylan Ward in net that is just fantastic. And God forbid if anything happens to him, you have a backup that's ready to step in Nathan Whittam that can step in if he has a bad game or if he just is, God forbid, knock on wood, I don't want this to happen, but God, if he were to get hurt, you have a guy that's ready to go, that's a starter, has starting quality, that could be a starter on a lot of these teams right now, I think, in Nathan Whittam. So I think they have the blueprint to win the championship. And I love their jersey. I've heard their arena is amazing. It would be an excuse if I become a fan, it's an excuse to go to Colorado for a trip. Like, I think that there's a lot of benefits to being a Colorado fan. I love their swagger, and I just think it's cool. I think it's a cool team. So right now, those are the three teams I'm down to. You guys let me know who you think I should pick. I'm really leaning I don't know. Right now, to be honest with you, I'd probably be leaning towards Colorado a little bit, just because I don't think Toronto and Halifax, I don't think it's their year this year, right? Now but I don't want to miss the bandwagon, or I don't want to miss the ship if Halifax does go on a crazy run like that. I will say that. But I'm going to see the matchups too, and that's going to sway who I pick maybe a little bit. Because if Colorado has to all of a sudden go up against Buffalo or something, it's like, fuck, I don't even know if that's possible, but it's like, that would suck. So it's like, I'm going to kind of look at the matchups, figure out who I really like, who I think has a shot. Halifax obviously can still eliminate themselves, right? Because they're not clinched. So they still need to go beat Ottawa this week. So that would basically make my decision a little easier as well, in a sense. Now I'm hoping Halifax can get a playoff. I'm hoping they can make a run. Like, I really am cheering for Halifax, right? And this is the thing about me, a neutral fan. It's I'm going to get to watch all these games and just enjoy them. So it is kind of nice. So with that being said, yeah, I probably right now, boys, if I had to pick a team right now, I'd go with Colorado. But when I say it, it doesn't feel right. So I don't know. So there you go. There you go. There's my picks there, and there we have it. So let's actually get into this episode now that we've spent all that time going through all this bullshit, all the other things. I know that Lacrosse Canada thing's deep, but to me, it's worth it. Like, I need to do it in order for you guys to understand. No one's covering this. There is nobody doing what I'm doing because everyone's doesn't want to offend anybody or doesn't want to fucking, I don't know. They're all intertwined. I'm not really sure why people aren't talking about this. And that's because maybe they're just not, they're distracted with other things, or they just don't want to. I get the sense that people don't want to say things about people that they might have a lot of a relationship with, which I don't have a relationship with anybody. So for me, I'm just going to report it. But even if I did, I would still report it. Like, full transparency, I reached out to Terry. He seems like a nice guy. I'm not trying to sit here and, it's not like he was an asshole when I reached out to him. He was really nice. He said, I can't come on, unfortunately. Obviously, it makes sense. And I said that when I messaged him originally. I said, hey man, I would love to have you on the show. I completely understand if you can't come on right now, but the invitation's open. And that still stands for forever. And I will never try to get somebody. I'll never be like, haha, I'm going to clickbait you and like make you look horrible. Like, if you're like, hey, I want to come on your show, but I don't want to talk about Lacrosse Canada, I'll be like, okay, I'll still have you on my show because I think that he has a unique lacrosse mind, right? He's been around for a long time. And I do think this is a situation, as much as I think that he screwed up, I do think there is a situation where Lacrosse Canada also is just trying to be like, here, you get all the blame. And that's not, in my opinion, that's not the right way. So anyway, with all that being said, let's get right into the episode here, finally. So we're going to go through all the games. Halifax, we had 7 games this week. I did absolute trash on who you got. I haven't even looked at it. That's how bad I've done. We'll go into that in a minute. I think I did. I'm going to go into it. I had a horrible, I tried to take a big swing last week and bet on underdogs to try to push me ahead in the standings, and I definitely just screwed myself hard. So it is what it is. No big deal. I tried to swing big. So this week I'll just try to go get as many points as I can. Big deal, guys. For my first season of Who You Got, I think I did pretty good. So we've got Halifax versus Warriors. Almost got this game, but Warriors came back, 8-7 win. They had an attendance number of 9,234. So still really good. 9,000 fans is good for this league. We've seen them put over 10,000. It would have been nice to see them do that, but it is what it is. So you had Halifax getting 6 goals in the first half, 3 in the first, 3 in the second, and only 1 goal in the second half, which was in the fourth. You have Vancouver getting 1 in the first, 3 in the third, 0 in the third, 3 in the second, 0 in the third, which is wild. No team scored in the third, and then 4 in the fourth. So they clutched it out. Halifax dropped the ball hard. Both teams went over 20 minutes without a score, without a goal. Halifax had the lead for 51 minutes and 59 seconds. Like, that's insane to lose a game like that. That sucks. And that was a playoff clinching game. That would have clinched their playoff spot. So that really sucks for them. And you had a lot of the scoring was spaced out for sure. So you had 2 goals and 2 assists by Jason Knox and Clark Peterson. Both these guys. You had 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points by Jason Knox and a CP24. And you had Cody Jameson getting also 4 points with a goal and 3 assists. Same as Mike Robinson, a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Casey Wilson got his first goal, so not bad, to be honest with you. Brendan Bobberry got an assist. Jake Withers got an assist. So we'll see. Actually, I take back what I said about Casey. Casey did look not bad this game. Yeah, and Jake Withers was 47.4% in the draw. That is rough, bud. That's a rough day in the draw for him. Why doesn't it show? They changed it. And then on the other side of things, you had Jesse King, 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. King Ball, 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Marcus Claridge for 4 assists for 4 points. Charlene Beatties with 3 assists for 3 points. Dixon with 2 goals. Owen Grant with a goal. You had Cromwell and Charbonneau with an assist, as well as Matt Beers with an assist. Reed Bowring had six loose ball pickups. And Max Adler went 55% in the draw, 55.6% in the draw. Huge. You had Warren Hill having an outstanding night with 59 shots, 51 saves for an 86.4 save percentage. You had Christian Del Bianco having an awesome night too with 48 saves, 48 shots, 41 saves for an 85.4 save percentage. So like these goalies, again, we talked about it before. I've talked about it lots too here. It's like, what is going on with the goalies? Like, it seems like they've just elevated their game like a lot this season. And that can't just be me that's noticed that. Like, I know I'm sitting here going over the games every week. I see all the stats every week. But like, it's crazy when I look at it. It's crazy when I look at it. It really is. So Toronto versus Ottawa, Toronto beating Ottawa 10-6. Again, this is one that I thought Ottawa was gonna kind of show a bit more heart in and try to get the win. You have 5,344, so 5,344 attendance for Ottawa. Again, we gotta get this number up. I hear a lot of it where, once the new arena gets built, okay, we'll see. Hopefully they can last that long. You got Toronto getting 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. You got Ottawa getting 0 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. So it was a tight game overall. Realistically, Toronto just kind of was just a little bit better each quarter. You also had, Toronto with a almost 15-minute longest drought, same as Ottawa had 16:50 for longest drought. And you had Josh Dawick leading Toronto with 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists. Bushi had 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Sam English had a hat trick with 3 goals, huge. Owen Hills had a goal and an assist. Brad Cree had 2 assists. Hugh Keller had 2 assists, another rookie. Jubenville had a goal. CJ Kurse was held to only 1 assist, but did pick up 7 loose balls. Elijah Gass had 1. Elijah Morin Weeks had an assist, as well as Weir and Nick Rose. You had Rowlett going 45% in the draw. And on the other side, you had Teat, 1 goal, 3 assists. Robert Hellier with 1 goal, 3 assists. Phil Caputo with 2 goals. Connor Kiernan with a goal and assist. Jake Stevens with a goal. Sam Firth, Brent Noseworthy, Reed Kurtz all had an assist. Kurtz also went 55% in the draw. Noseworthy got 10 loose balls. That's killer. Callum Jones had 8. Yeah. In the goaltending situation, you had Nick Rose taking 44 shots, 38 saves, getting 86.4 save percentage. Zach Higgins, this is crazy. Zach Higgins had 42 shots, 33 saves for a 78.6 save percentage. Goal against average was 9. Like, that's not a bad game, guys. And that's still not good enough in this year's lacrosse. It's insane. That's insane. So this was a good game. Like I said, I would have liked to see a little bit more offense, maybe out of Toronto, just a little bit. Not too bad, though. Very consistent. And they played an overall great game. They're playing a great defensive game. And Nick Rose has been absolutely lights out. You've also, and like, what a way to start the Friday, those 2 games. But you've also got, but I thought Ottawa would have showed a little bit more heart. See, the thing is, if Jeff T would have had a 7-point night, like, he's had other games this season, that would have been enough to kind of push it up, I think. So, again, you don't want to put it all on one guy by any means, but it's going to be sad if you see Jeff T not make the playoffs again. And to be honest with you, money on the line, I'm going to put on Halifax. The goaltending stronger. The defense, I think, is maybe a little bit stronger. And the offense, I want to say it's even. Like, it's even. I would say maybe the offense, it depends on who shows up what night. Jeff T comes out and has a fucking, put me on, like, put the team on his back and carry him in. Yes. And then you consider them to, is that even better? If he can go win this game, Jeff T, does that give him more like kind of fuel to his fire for MVP? I think it kind of does. So, and then we'll see if Halifax can go close out and, give this veteran team a chance to go win it, right? To go win it all in Halifax. Halifax deserves it. Halifax, that city, that fan base, everything, they deserve a championship. So Colorado beating Saskatchewan 13. We'll get into the next game here, though. Colorado beating Saskatchewan 13-11. You got the attendance number was 6,667. You've got Colorado getting 4 in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. And you've got Saskatchewan getting 0 in the first, 1 in the second, so only 1 goal in the first half, 6 in the third, and 4 in the fourth. So Saskatchewan had a much better second half, especially there was a run here, which I'm going to go through quickly. But Saskatchewan went 27 minutes without a goal. 27 minutes. That you cannot do that and expect to win. Colorado only went 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes. So that's pretty good. But listen, hear this out. There was a run by Zach Mans, was it? No. Sorry, there was a run by Brock Haley here. Where was that? Like, they scored. Yeah, it was this one. Sorry. They scored 4 goals in the between 2:05 and 2:38. And then Jack Hanna finally got one at 3:25 in the third quarter. So the start of the quarter, this is what Saskatchewan came out at. Brock Haley scored one at 2:05. Robert Churchwin scored one at 2:21. Jake Nasso scored one at 2:32, and then he scored again at 2:38. So like insane run. And if they would have played like that off the beginning, they would have got Colorado. But I mean, Will Malcolm is huge. The fact that we're not talking him as MVP is just because he's had some really amazing games and he's had some down games, and that's the only real reason. But he came out and put 2 up to start the games. Anyway, so you had Jack Hanna on the Colorado side. You had Jack Hanna getting 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. You had Will Malcolm getting 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. You had Brandon Saris getting a goal and 3 assists for 4 points, which doesn't get talked about. Brandon Saris is a sneaky pickup for Colorado. I loved him for that pickup, and he's continues to get better and better every week. Tim Edwards is a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Bucktooth is a goal and an assist for 2 points. Owen Ron is a goal and 2 assists for 2 points. Same as Chaster. Then you had McIntosh getting a goal. Jeffrey, Ari Steves, Robert Hope, and Gillies all got an assist. You also had Robert Hope getting 16 loose balls. Absolutely massive against this team, the Saskatchewan team. And you had Plato going 66% in the draw. On the other side, you had Ryan Keenan getting a goal and 5 assists for 6 points. Zach Mans getting 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. Messenger getting 4 assists. Brock Haley getting a hat trick with 3 goals. Robert Church getting 2 goals. Jake Nasso getting 2 goals. Achoni getting 2 assists, as well as Garland. Shanks getting a goal. Boudreau getting assists, and Welter getting assists. Huge there. You had Hosak getting 11 loose balls. Jake Nasso went 67.9% in the draw, so big for him. In the goaltending side of things, you had Dylan Ward getting 49 shots, 38 saves for a 77.6 save percentage. And you have Frankie Sheliano having not a great night with 41 shots, 28 saves for a 68.3 save percentage. And that's the thing, man. It's just like a goalie breakdown. You know, maybe they should have put their backup in after a certain point, but I guess, you know, Frankie's their guy and they're going to run with him. You got to respect that a little bit. Now, is it time for Saskatchewan to start panicking? Oh, yeah, it is. They need this last win. Like, I thought at this point of the season, they would have been on cruise control. They would have been maybe resting guys this next week, letting, you know, some more depth guys get some minutes or whatever that may be. But the fact is they're fighting for, I think they still have a chance at a home playoff spot, but they're also just fighting to get back in the win column before they head into the playoffs. You don't want to go into a playoff on a, seven loss, like a 7 skid loss. Like, let's go see them for a minute. How many games? I think they've lost 6 in a row now. Oh no, okay, maybe not that. Okay, no, they haven't lost 6 in a row. What it is they've lost they've lost 5 of their last 6. So that's what it is. So you don't want to lose again. It's crazy. Like, they've lost against Buffalo, Rochester, Toronto, Buffalo, and Colorado. So it's not like they're slouch teams for the most part. Actually, all those teams are really good except for Rochester. Rochester, they lost in overtime. They lost to Buffalo in overtime too. So, and they beat Vancouver in overtime earlier this season. And then Ottawa, they lost against Ottawa early on. But like, they overall, they're still a solid team. I just don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what is the issue. Well, I can tell you the issue was that they didn't start on time. That's the issue last week. And the goaltending was not good enough where it needed to be. Everyone's entitled to an off game. I think every goalie at this point has had at least one off game. Dylan Ward was okay, but that's what I mean. Like, but he's had some really big games too this season. So it's just wild what we're seeing with the goaltending, with everything. So next we had Rochester still live at this point, 12-6 for Buffalo. They beat Rochester, completely obliterating their chances at a playoff spot. 18,070 was the fan size. So huge, again, sold out crowd. Just amazing that they can put that many fans in on a week to week basis. Every week they do it. Rochester had 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And Buffalo had 4 in the first, 3 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. And I don't want to take away anything that Matt Vince did in this game because he had a absolutely amazing game. Don't get me wrong. But Rochester, their offense was they looked checked out. They looked checked out, their offense, and they need to, I don't know, man. They need to get more scoring. I don't know. This team was so highly touted before the season. I said I don't think they're what everyone thinks they are. Then the season went on. They had a really good run. I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong with this team. And here we fucking go, boys. They were a bubble team. I think they might have done worse than I even thought they were going to. And everyone thought I was crazy to think that. I remember a lot of these insiders had these guys at number 2 walking into the season. Had Halifax at number 1 or 2. So who the fuck am I to talk? But I'm just saying. Okay, this is my first full season watching. I've learned a lot from this, but anyway, I digress. So you had Ryan Launchbury getting a goal and 4 assists for 5 points. Connor Fields getting 4 assists. Blaze Riordan getting 2 goals. Ryan Smith getting a goal, as well as Zed Williams and Pacino. Then you had McConvey and Thompson and Tutton all getting assists. You had Jeremy Thompson going 45% in the face-off. On the other side of things, you had Josh Burns getting 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. Dane Smith getting 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. Buchanan getting 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Ian McKay getting 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Joey Rez getting a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Mitch DeSnew getting a goal and assist for 2 points. Steve Pirolo getting a goal. Dylan Robinson getting an assist, as well as Taylor Dooley. And you had Connor Farrell getting 54.5% in the draw. Good win on there. Face-offs do matter there, boys, I guess. So, no. And then on the goaltending side of things, you had Hartley not having a bad game, 53 shots, 42 saves for 79.2 save percentage. And then Matt Vince, 49 shots, 43 saves for an 87.8 save percentage. He was lights out, absolutely. Played a fantastic game, but I just think Philly could have done a lot more, honestly, than they did. Or not Philly, sorry, it's Philly. Rochester's. We're going to get to Philly. Philly went out there and did something that I didn't think they should have, but I didn't expect it. So they first off put up 9,913 fans, which this is great. I'm so happy for them to have that last game and that their community show out. Why wasn't this happening the whole time and they wouldn't be leaving, guys? Like, that's crazy. You see the fan can be there. Like, this could be one of the best franchises out there. Like, at that fourth, fifth, even that third spot possibly. And this is it's just the potential that this year that doesn't happen. It pisses me off, but it's nice to see fans do come out to the last home game. I will say that. You had Las Vegas going over 20 minutes without a goal, and this is the thing, when you do that, you usually don't win. Also, the Vegas not winning this game is crazy to me. They needed to win. Philadelphia would have been way better if they lost, but I get the last game at home thing was just, I think was a little bit, I think that they really cranked it up for that. The team did. Yeah, Vegas getting 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and 0 in the fourth, and which is the opposite. Usually Vegas just cranks it up in the fourth, and then Philly, you have 3 in the first, 4 in the second, 1 in the third, and 3 in the fourth. Very consistent, very well played game by Philadelphia, honestly, and holding them to 5 is crazy. We're gonna get into Nick DeMood in a minute, having an absolute historical game. You got Adam Poltres for Vegas getting 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Mitch Jones with 4 assists. Kyle Killen getting 2 goals. Chris Cloutier getting a goal and assist. Donville getting 2 assists. Connor Kurse getting an assist. And then it falls off the face of the earth there. You had Tyler Hammer Jackson getting 50% in the draw. You had, on the other side, Nielsen got 4 goals, 3 assists. Huge game for 7 points for him. Paul Jackson getting 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Bolton Young, another rookie, a goal and 5 assists for 6 points. You have Brendan O'Neill getting 2 assists. Chris Corbell getting 2 assists. Sundown getting a goal, Eric Fennell getting a goal, Ryan Wagner getting assists, and you had Bo Columbus going 50% in the draw. First off, I want to shout out Nielsen. Huge game for him. The future is bright, especially after they get their first overall pick. Hopefully, let's fingers crossed Philly gets it. Wherever they end up, I'm hearing New Jersey is kind of the landing spot for them. Whether that be true or not, I don't know. I wouldn't count that right now. So you got Alex Bouquet going in, 10 shots, 5 goals, 50 save percentage, pulled him. Landon Kell's going in there, playing 79.3. I don't know who you're running with. I don't know what to say about this. I still think Bouquet is the guy. That's just my own opinion, if you're choosing between Kells and Bouquet. Then you got Nick DeMood with 65 shots, 60 saves, 5 goals against, and a 92.3 save percentage. Nick DeMood. I love it, Nick DeMood. You are a go. You are a fucking great goaltender. I watched Philly in the preseason. I think it was against Georgia. But I remember watching DeMood and I was like, This guy is actually so good, bro. This guy's so good. And like the fact that he's sitting on this team right now, like I said, he's 27 years old. Okay. What are we doing here, boys? Like the guy is 27. You got Deacon Knott at a 23. You have your next guy, your quote unquote next guy, in my opinion. And Deacon Knott's good. Deacon Knott's got an 81.1 save percentage this year. You know? So it's like you have, in my opinion, Deacon Knott's the next goalie, the goalie of that team. Just my opinion. Nick the mood, move for assets, get some assets back, and like let him go to a team that he can actually contend with because he's ready to go. And you guys aren't. So please, like Nick the mood, man. Fucking guy is killer. Great game. Game of his career right there, right? And I think, is he going to be like these goalies? I keep saying, like, they're just so good, man. And I don't get it. I don't understand what happened from last season to this season that has made the goaltending that much better, right? And some people are like, oh, maybe it's scoring down. Well, of course scoring's down, but is it, you've still got to, it's such a jump. It's like, it's crazy. That crease rule is the only real thing that's changed. I thought it would have had the opposite effect. So Calgary versus Oshawa 5,500. We got to max that out. I think right now you can get 6,000 in there. I want to see 6,000 on there. Once everything ready to go, 7,000. Like we need to get that filled, but Oshawa, I don't know. Losing to Calgary 14-7. They beat Calgary last week. Closer game though. But again, just showing no heart really, in my opinion. Anyway, just my opinion, guys. I hate this team. I hate Oshawa. I used to love them. Last season, I loved them. Beginning of the season, I loved them. I fucking hate Oshawa now. Calgary, they are the Toronto Maple Leafs of the league, in my opinion. Calgary, 3 goals in the first, 5 in the second, 1 in the third, and 5 in the fourth. And Oshawa got 5 in the first, 1 in the second, 0 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. So 1 goal in the second half, not good enough. They came out, they got shut down. It is what it is. Calgary, only going 10 minutes without a goal, just over 10 minutes. Oshawa, over half the game without a goal, 30 minutes and 45 seconds. You can't do that. Like, wake the fuck up, boys. Wake up. That's crazy. Tanner Cook, 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. That kid, I love this kid. Tyler Pace, 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. Love both those players. 5 assists. Who's the younger one there? Is it Tanner Cook that's young? Tanner Cook's 27, and I think Tyler Pace is 30, if I'm not mistaken. 31. So, okay. So they're like kind of more veteran leadership. Hayden Dixon is 25. Yeah. So you got, Hayden Dixon got 5 assists. Noel Manning got 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Brandon Maya got 3 goals. Ryan Lone got a goal and assist. Riley Isaac got a goal. Seo got a goal with an 83.3% face-off percentage. You got Lady getting an assist, as well as Leclerc, Gauthier, and Bowman all getting assists. And on the other side, you had Alex Simmons getting 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Ty Kurse getting 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Austin Thied getting a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Ethan Walker getting a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Albanesh getting a goal and assists for 2 points. Clark getting 2 goals, 2 assists. The belt holder, toughest guy in the league. Mason Williams, 0 points. Okay, that says it all. A couple guys on faceoffs. Nobody did really great. Mike Byrne got 16%. Zach Mason got 18%. Not great. Anasio was a great faceoff guy, though, in all fairness. Ian Walsh only played 18 minutes, 25 seconds, 20 shots, 14 saves for 70%. And then you have Bowman coming in for 41 minutes, 38 shots, 37 saves for a 97.4 save percentage. Huge. If he would have played the whole game, that would have been amazing. Crazy, crazy game. Won Calgary that game, arguably. And Doug Jameson on the other side, getting 51 shots, 38 saves for 74.5 save percentage. And then kid came in just for like 3 minutes. Nothing crazy. Got a shot, got a save. Boom. So that's crazy, guys. There you have it. Calgary is going to be a force. How old's Bowman? Like, I know Walsh is supposed to be the guy, but man, Bowman's good, brother. He's going to steal his job. Okay, guys. Okay, just a side quest here. Tangent. This year, he's had played 58 minutes. He's got 50 shots on goal, 48 saves for a 96 save percentage. Now, yes, most of that was this game. 41 minutes of that was this last game. But, I mean, it's kind of interesting. You almost want to put him in the final game to see what he's got. I think that'd be kind of cool to see. I'm sure Aiden Walsh wouldn't like that so much. But if I was Calgary, I'd probably do it to see how he could actually be looking. Like, maybe you pivot, right? Sometimes that happens. Jobs get stolen. And for some reason, San Diego... We're going to go to the next game. San Diego beating Georgia 9-7. There's no attendance on here for some reason. I'm assuming there wasn't 0 in the building. Unless that's a troll. That's hilarious, honestly. But I don't think Graham's like that. San Diego got 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And Georgia got 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 3 in the fourth. And this is the thing. Georgia, their offense production is not quite there yet, and they are going to be a scary team. You know me, man. I'm a massive Nolan Byrne guy. I talk him up all the time. Kid's a stud. I don't even know where he's from. Let's see. Nolan Byrne. He is from Greeley. I'm from Ontario. I don't even know what that is. Greeley, Ontario. Okay, anyway. And like he's had a great season. Like he's at 30 goals in his rookie season. He's got 30 goals, 18 assists, 40 points this season. Like he's got a pretty, honestly, he's got pretty good. And San Diego. So I want to shout out San Diego here because they did play a fantastic game and I did not expect them to do this. And they've put themselves in a position where they can actually still get a playoff spot. Arguably, they're probably sitting in the best spot right now because it's in other teams' hands, but the teams have to win back-to-backs and everything. So they still have a pretty decent shot in getting in the playoffs here. So you have Wesley Berg getting 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. And McIntosh getting 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Zach Currier getting a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Connor Robinson getting 3 assists. Noah Armitage getting 2 goals. LeClaire getting 2 assists, as well as DeKiko and Ari Stahinis. Chris Kavanaugh getting a goal. And Eli Gobrecht getting an assist. You had Trevor Baptiste going 78.9 in the faceoffs. Danny Logan got 10 loose balls. So I want to shout out that because I love my loose ball stats. And on the other side of things, you got Shane Jackson getting 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. Caleb Benedict getting 5 assists. Nolan Burns getting 3 goals. Addy, good for him. Lyle Thompson getting a goal and 2 assists. Brian Cole getting 2 assists. Jeff Henrique getting a goal. Kaysen Tarbell getting an assist. And you had Ben Trumbull getting 25% of the draw. Mike Manley getting 16.7% of the draw. And then McIntosh getting 0. And Uriglieri had a good game as well. Another good game by him. 40 shots, 33 saves for an 82.5 save percentage. And you had Brett Dobson getting 53 shots, 44 saves for an 83 save percentage. Both goalies had fantastic nights. Brett Dobson needs help offensively. And that's why, honestly, I took Georgia off the list. That was the difference between Colorado and Georgia for me when it came down to those two teams. That's what knocked them off the list, was that just their their offense isn't ready to win a championship, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, like I said, I'm a massive Nolan Burn guy. I think Lyle Thompson, I would have had to put him in the best player in the world last year. I think he's lost a little bit of a step this year, in my opinion. Still a fantastic player, still can play at a top level. I'm not saying that by any means. I just don't think you can consider him to be the best player in the world anymore, in my opinion. I think that title's got to either go to Jeff Teat or Keegan Ball. I think Keegan Ball is honestly starting to, in my opinion, be one of the best players in the world. I think that Will Malcolm's going to be on that list. Jack Hanna could be considered there. So there's a couple guys. So anyway, there you have it there, guys. There's the recap for the week. Again, it's just insane. Another insane week. Every game was fantastic, as always. The goaltending performances in me, again, they stand out to me so much. I'm just a goalie guy, I think, a little bit, but they just stand out to me so much. And yeah, so it's just pretty wild. So let's see. So let's talk about the standings currently. So currently we have a 2 team side for first, Colorado and Vancouver, sitting at a 12-5 record. Colorado technically is ahead of them, I think. Let's see, actually. Let's go to the standings on here for a minute. So yeah, we got Colorado and Vancouver tied for first at a 12-5 record. Then you've got Buffalo and Toronto both tied with 11-6. Then you got Saskatchewan also in there with 11-6, sorry. And then you have Georgia at a 10-6, so they've got an extra game in hand still. You've got Ottawa with an 8-9. Sorry, so all those teams are clinched, right? So we have 6 teams clinched right now. Then you've got Ottawa, San Diego. You got Ottawa with an 8-9. You got San Diego with a 7-9. You got Las Vegas with a 7-9, and you've got Halifax with a 7-10. So Halifax has to win both their games to give themselves a shot. Sorry, Halifax gets in if they beat Ottawa. That's what it is. Halifax gets in if they beat Ottawa, and San Diego can get in as well. San Diego gets in, I think, if Halifax doesn't win. Or no, who is it? Hold on, no. San Diego gets in if Las Vegas doesn't win both their games. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be. So I don't know if there's a world where Ottawa and Halifax get in. Yeah, I don't think there's a world where Halifax gets in. But anyway, so there's your standings right now. Your player leaders, as always, your points. So currently sitting on top is Keegan Ball with 113 points. Dane Smith has 112. Jeff Teat has 110. Josh Byrne has 108. Connor Fields has 108. Alex Simmons has 102. Ryan Launchbury has 98. Tyler Pace has 97. Rob Hellier has 95. Tanner Cook has 95. And there's your top 10 right there, guys. So for that, and then you've got, for goals, you have Tanner Cook leading the league now with 47 goals for. GQ has 45, but he's also got 5 less games played. So that's insane. You've got Jeff Teat with 41, Alex Simmons with 40, Curtis Dixon with 40, Keegan Ball with 39, Connor Fields with 39, Clark Peterson with 39 as well, Dane Smith with 37, Ty Kurtz with 37, Ryan Smith with 37. So there you guys have it. There's kind of a top 10 for that. And then we got save percentages right now, currently. I'm not going to count the backups, even though Bowman had an amazing game. Dobson has an 84.3 still. You've got Nick Rose at an 81.6, Christian Del Bianco at an 81.5, Nick Damoud at an 81.4, Dylan Ward at an 81, Helen at an 81, Matt Vince at a 79.3, Frankie at a 79 after that kind of bad game. Origlieri at 79, Dougie Jameson at 78.9, Aiden Walsh at 77.9, Zach Higgins at 77.7, Alex Bouquet at 77.6. Hartley is at Ryan Hartley's at 72.2. So worst goaltending in the league right now is like Rochester, in my opinion. Everyone goes on about Vegas. Rochester has worse goaltending in the league, hands down, nothing to talk about. Okay, so now we're gonna run through I'll just run through my players of the week quick here. So let's get right into the players of the week here. So my offensive player of the week is gonna go to Jack Hanna. Jack Hanna had an amazing weekend, and this is the thing: you never know who's gonna do it, but you know one of these guys is gonna do it. And Will Malcolm is right there too. But 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. So Jack Hanna, again, this isn't the first time, but he's my offensive player of the week. My defensive player of the week, I'm going to pick Robert Hope. He had 16 loose ball pickups. Like the guy is such a staple back there. And he's a real big reason why I want to choose Colorado for the playoff run, because they're so good. It's just insane. And you actually might see a Avalanche win the Stanley Cup and Colorado win the NL championship. So that'd be kind of cool too. Right around the same time. So goalie of the week, guys, there's nothing to talk about. There is nothing to talk about here. Actually, that's not true. So my goalie of the week is going to be Nick Damoud. Nick Damoud had an amazing weekend with 65 shots, 60 saves, 5 goal against, and 92.3 save percentage. The only other one I wanted to kind of shout out a little bit here is Mr. Bowman, man. Bowman came in with 41 minutes left in the game still and had a 97 save percentage. So shout out to him too. But we are going to give the official goalie of the week to Nick Damoud. Shout out to Nick Damoud, man. Killed it. And the rookie of the week, Sam English, man. Honestly, 3 goals could easily be in here, but I'm going to give it to this Lucas Nielsen. Rookie, 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points, 21 years old, BC boy, massive game for him. And he's had other big games this year, don't get me wrong. But he's having, you hear CJ Kurz so much that you just don't hear a lot of other people. But CJ Kurz had a little bit of a down week, and he's got, in 8 games, he got 12 goals, 8 assists for 20 points. So, he's had a good thing. And the thing is, he's technically a rookie. Yeah. And he played for Buffalo, and Buffalo let him go. So that's it's like a kick in the teeth a little bit here, because he played his first 4 games with Buffalo, and then he played his last 4 games with Philly. His first 4 games with Buffalo, just to give his perspective, was 1 assist, 1 goal, 1 assist, and 1 assist. And in Philly, he's got 2 goals in the first game. He had 2 goals, 1 assist in the second game, 3 goals in the third game, and now he's had a breakout game with 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. Huge. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. So there you have it, guys. There's your players of the week. There's your awards. My power rankings. Do you want my power rankings too? So let's see right now. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so anyway, so we've got, so we're going to put Buffalo first. Las Vegas would have dropped off the fucking face of the earth last year. Ottawa, I guess Halifax, and then Ottawa, I'm going to say. That's going to be my top 8. I'm not putting San Diego in my top 8. I'm not putting Las Vegas in my top 8. Rochester, no. There we go. All right, so my power rankings are Buffalo at number 1, Colorado at number 2, Vancouver at number 3, Toronto at number 4, Georgia at number 5, Saskatchewan at number 6, Halifax at number 7, and Ottawa at number 8. Vegas, I think with that loss, fell off a little bit. It's going to be a tough road for them to get in. I'm not saying they can't do it. They definitely can. I do believe in that team. And San Diego to me is a fugazi. So I will apologize to them next week if I am wrong, but I don't think I am. So they're kind of hanging around waiting. They also have to win their game, I think, too. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, and then we got, so here let's run through the could happen here. Oh, this is cool. Okay. So you can go on shoutoutnlstats.com. You can go to the could happen. You can just look at all the stuff. The matchups this week, right? So there's 9 games left. So I think Vegas beats San Diego. I think Vegas, that's what it is. Vegas has to beat San Diego twice, which I think they're going to do. Rochester versus Georgia. I'm going to take Georgia on this one all day. We've got Halifax, Oshawa. I think Halifax gets in there. We've got Buffalo versus Oshawa. I'm going to take Buffalo on that one. Oshawa's at home. They don't like winning at home. Calgary, Colorado. I'm going to take Colorado on this one. Unless they're resting, but I can't see them. Toronto versus Saskatchewan. I'm going to take Saskatchewan needs that win. That seems like a fucking needed win. But I'm going to take, honestly, the way Toronto's been playing, I'm going to take Toronto on that one, but that could go either way. For sure. Then I'm going to take Vancouver over Philly. That should be a pretty easy win. Las Vegas at home to close out. And we're going to take Georgia again. Georgia will be a win. So if everything that happens that I think happens, the playoff the playoffs will look like this: Colorado, Vancouver, Buffalo, Georgia, Toronto, Saskatchewan, Las Vegas, and Halifax will get in. Halifax will get in with an 8-10 record, which is insane. And then if Ottawa beats Halifax, it'll be Ottawa in instead. And let's just say San Diego wins the first game. So if San Diego beats Vegas, either one, San Diego gets in. Vegas gets in, has to win both games in order to win. So it's really, and the nice thing is it's in San Diego's hands, it's in Vegas's hands, and it's in Halifax's or Ottawa's hands. Everybody's kind of, the way they scheduled it, the way it worked out, which again, whoever made the schedule is fantastic. They left it in everybody's hands. Everybody just needs to play and win, and they got it. San Diego has a bit of a, like I said, San Diego's probably got the best position because all they have to do is win 1 out of 2 games, where everyone else is down into sudden death. Like you win, or you go home, you're done. So I'm hoping for the plot. We definitely see Vegas win in San Diego, and then I'm hoping we see Vegas go home and win again. Are we going to see Trace Frazier this week? That's another thing. So I just kind of ran through it, but just to be clear, this week we've got Las Vegas beating San Diego, Georgia beating Rochester, Halifax beating Ottawa, Buffalo beating Oshawa, Colorado beating Calgary, Toronto beating Saskatchewan, Philadelphia, Vancouver beating Philly, Las Vegas beating San Diego again, and then Georgia beating Rochester. So Georgia, I think, is going to win both their games. But I wonder, so what if Rochester beats both these games? I wonder, just to see what it would look like. Bro, right now, honestly, I think Georgia, let's just say they split it. Georgia to get a home game as well, I want to point out, they need to win this week. Buffalo's got the week off. Somehow Buffalo how does Buffalo do this? Buffalo's got the week off. Toronto's got the week off. Good for them, man. That's lucky. Toronto doesn't have the week off. I'm sitting here fucking look at them. Buffalo doesn't have the week off either. I'm so dumb. I'm going to cancel that. But let's see if Oshawa beats Buffalo. Oshawa beats Buffalo. What would happen? Buffalo. So this is still, you got to win to, just could be whatever still. So I'm not going to go into those this week. I think I hit everything. So I think we covered pretty much everything in here. If there's anything you guys ever want to see that I didn't put in these episodes, please let me know. Also, again, I'm not trying to bring any hate onto Lacrosse Canada. I just want it to be the best. I want it to be the best place it can be and the best representation from Canada it can be. Because at the end of the day, we are the best at lacrosse. And everyone goes on about hockey is our game, and I understand this is the native game, but I consider this also to be a Canadian game, and I think it could be a way that we can show our own, just to be proud of our country because we are the best at it. And it's important to try to remain on top because the States is right there, and you have the rest of the world starting to come up with sixes and all that stuff. But I love this game. I think it's the best game in the world. Like I said, I never would have thought would have more love for hockey. I was a fan of hockey for 30, I still am, don't get me wrong, 30 plus years. And now I've just found lacrosse in the last, year and a half, essentially now. And like really where I started watching it and paying attention. And I'm absolutely in love with this game. I think it's the best game in the world. Hands down. You've got all the native culture aspects to it, which makes it just that much better. And because it means that much more to these players. Okay, so, and that's why I always find I gotta kind of walk a fine line with this, with how I treat it as a sport. That's why I treat the NLL and actual lacrosse. I think you gotta kind of split it up. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So with all that being said, guys, here's go follow the socials, like, subscribe. If you're still listening at this point, I really appreciate you. I love you guys. Leave me a comment if you're listening at this point. I prefer to anybody at this point still listening to me is like a true listener here. And I really am. I love doing these. So give me a listen. I'm going to try to have next week's episode out on Monday. I will see how tired I get by Sunday night. And with all that being said, thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys listening, and we'll talk to you later. So my name is Jake McDonald. I am Anything Across, and this is the game that never sits still. We will talk to you guys later. Love you guys.